Welcome. In today's episode, we examine a profound topic that affects us all, the nature of the ego. Many of us identify with our jobs, our achievements, and even our thoughts and feelings. But are these things really who we are? Today, we will expose the ego illusion and explore the age-old question of our true identity. Are you ready to look beyond the image in the mirror and discover your true self? Join me as we peel back the layers of what you think you know about yourself. Let's start. The first step in self-realization is to recognize that we are not the ego. The second step is to find who we are. For the first step, we must study the nature of the ego because its powerful identification as being our idea of the self and its strong patterns make it difficult to discern. Realizing that the ego is just a figment of our imagination. Most people think their ego is who they are. That is, they believe that their thoughts, name, occupation, achievements, possessions, ideas, beliefs, preferences, experiences, and expectations are their real self. All these are our external social elements and cannot be our real self. So our ego is just a construct of the mind, a construct of the people we associate with, and a construct of our culture. That is, the ego is what our parents, teachers, and society made it. The ego, in the sense of the idea of self that we think it is, does not exist as an entity separate from us. We know that we exist and that we are the awareness of our consciousness. Therefore, in our minds, the ego tries to identify itself from our external characteristics in order to exist with that which it identifies with. The ego is simply a collection of thoughts and beliefs that create an illusion and video of the self. The ego cannot exist without identification with what we possess or who we are professionally. When most people are asked to describe themselves, they usually list their professional background, such as their current position and what it entails, then often refer to previous roles that led to their current job and their educational background. They highlight their skills and any notable achievements, interests, or hobbies, as well as their ambitions or what they look forward to achieving next, either in their careers or in their personal lives. The things we do, have, and enjoy, like jobs, education, accomplishments, and hobbies, are often mistaken for definitions of who we are. However, these are transitory and can change over time. They are aspects of our lives, but they do not fundamentally define our true nature or essence. One way to gain a deeper understanding of yourself is to ask yourself, who am I? Beyond these characteristics and identifications, one can begin to distinguish between what is permanent and true, the self, and what is temporary and changeable, the roles and attributes. When people describe who they are in terms of their roles, achievements, and material possessions, they are often speaking from the perspective of their ego. The ego is the part of the self that identifies with the external, the transitory, and the material. It constructs an identity based on these attachments and aversions, shaping how we see ourselves and how we want others to see us. The ego thrives on differentiation. It distinguishes I from you and mine from yours. He is deeply invested in maintaining a sense of individuality and separateness. This can manifest as a strong attachment to personal history, achievements, social status, physical appearances, and possessions. It is not that the ego is bad or wrong. Rather, it is simply a limited and often misleading representation of our true nature. The fundamental illusion is the belief that we are separate and isolated beings, fundamentally distinct from the world around us and from deeper reality. The ego, however, is that illusion that prompts us to seek happiness and satisfaction from external sources, because the ego does not survive without external fantasies. Our true self exists regardless of our external or social identities. The ego can be described as a mostly imaginary account of events, which our mind has translated into words, sounds, and images. The ego's incessant narrative shapes our beliefs, ideas, and concepts, thus shaping our perception of who we are. The path to spiritual awakening often involves recognizing and transcending this egoic identification. This does not mean denying or destroying the ego, but rather seeing through its illusory nature. It involves understanding that while we can engage with the world through these identities, they do not define the entirety of our existence. The true self lies beyond these surface layers. It is a state of pure consciousness, unbound by the finite definitions and limitations imposed by the ego. This self is often described as characterized by qualities such as infinite peace, awareness, and a sense of oneness with all existence. To achieve true freedom, we must understand that we are not the ego, but the awareness of the consciousness that we exist. It is not exactly easy to break one's self-identification with the ego, but this realization can be achieved through mindfulness, meditation, scripture study, and detachment from people, places, and things. So we can see that we are not the random thoughts of the ego, nor is there a self, a little person inside our mind that thinks and decides. We are simply energy that is aware of its existence. The character and story we have created for ourselves is nothing but an illusion because it is based on external characteristics. When we come to this understanding, the illusory mask falls and the character we are trying to portray using the ego as a proxy disappears. In practical terms, this means that while it is necessary to function in the world with an ego identity, we can learn to hold the ego identity lightly, recognizing it as merely a tool or role necessary to function and navigate the world. We must stop believing that the ego is the absolute truth of who we are at the deepest level. Meditation, mindfulness, and self-inquiry are practices that can help disconnect one's sense of self from ego constructs, leading to a more liberated and expansive life experience. As we conclude today's journey beyond the ego, I hope this exploration has sparked your curiosity to look deeper into who you really are. Remember, the identities and roles we take on are like the clothes we wear. They serve a purpose, but they don't define our true essence. Our true identity lies far beyond the ever-changing aspects of personality and social labels. In this deeper understanding lies true freedom and peace. Keep pondering, keep wondering, and most importantly, keep looking beyond the surface. Until next time, continue to seek the truth of your being and live in the light of that awareness. Created by Elias Stasinos, thank you for participating in this self-exploration. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more information and discussions.